All right, welcome to your slow flow class. So for anyone who isn't familiar with slow flow, this is a vinyasa class that we do at a slower pace compared to normal. So we'll have some longer holds in the shapes to really stretch and open up the body. We lower down to the floor, so no demanding balancing poses, remaining fairly low to the floor the whole time, and taking some time to meditate at the beginning and the end of class as well. So hopefully you'll feel nice and balanced and open once you finish today. So we're going to start lying down on the back. I'm going to demonstrate the whole class without using any props, just because it's likely that you don't have any props, but if you do, please feel welcome to take a supported fish pose with a block or a bolster. Otherwise, come to join me with the soles of the feet together and let the knees go out nice and wide in Supta Baddha Konasana. And if you feel like this is quite intense for your hip joint, so that inner kind of part of your pelvis, you can clench your fists and place them outside your hips and just rest the upper legs on top. So it gives you a little bit more height. If you need any more, you can also grab maybe like a couple of books or pillows. We don't want to fuss too much, so stay for as long as you can. If you need to come out beforehand, you're absolutely welcome to just extend your legs out straight. So if your fists are not supporting your legs, allow them to rest wherever is comfortable, maybe hands on the belly or out by your side. And begin to deepen your breath if you haven't already, taking a nice smooth breath in and out of your nose. So I feel in this shape really, really supported. I can feel the whole back of my body, the back of the head, the shoulders, my back, my legs supported by the floor. And that feeling of connection down helps me feel really grounded. So you might be feeling all of those sensations as well. Notice how every time you breathe out, your body feels a little bit heavier, breath by breath. And we're going to encourage that sensation by purposefully relaxing any tension that you can feel in your body. Just piece by piece. So go ahead and scan your head and all the way through your body down to your toes for any sign of tension or contraction. And help that part of you to soften now. If you do have the knees out nice and wide, you're welcome to join me in squeezing the glute muscles just for a second and then relaxing the muscles. You might feel your knees sink a little further down to the floor. Inhale, squeeze the glutes, and then as you breathe out, relax the glutes and feel the pelvis open. Do that one more time with a breath in, squeeze. And as you breathe out, relax. And then we're going to use the hands to help the knees come back together. Take that slowly, and then we're going to take the feet to the outer edges of the mat and knock the knees together. So as your knees are knocking in together, extend your arms overhead. A really nice gentle opening for the side of the waist, the underarms. A couple of breaths, feel the chest expand as you breathe in. And then we'll release the left leg long onto the floor, pull the toes back towards you, gather the hands around the front of the right knee, hug it in nice and close, so both feet are flexing as you pull the right knee in towards the armpit. And then use the left hand to guide you over into a twist to the left. So right knee heading over to the left. And as you're resting here, try to keep the top knee and the right shoulder edging down towards the floor. We'll find a little bit of movement here. Inhaling, relax the effort, but stay in the twist. And then as you exhale, imagine I've come to press the right knee and the right shoulder down towards the floor. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, relax the effort. And then press the shoulder and knee down. Do that again. And then we'll release back into the middle. You might want to hug both knees in just to kind of recalibrate a little bit, and then we'll come to the other side. Right leg out onto the floor, pull the left knee in, draw the toes back, hold. And then we'll cross the left knee over to the right, take the left arm out long. So you might find it's fairly easy to get the left knee down to the floor. You might find that it's not so easy, and either way, no problem. As we take this movement here with the breath, there's just an intention to get the knee down to the floor and to keep the left shoulder down. So breath in, relax the effort, and then exhale, dig the left shoulder down and the left knee down. Inhale, relax. Exhale, heavy. Do that one more time. Amazing. Draw the knees back into the center. Hug them in. And then we'll come into a bridge pose, so feet pressed down onto the floor. And the hands graze the back of the heels just to check they're nice and close, feet hip width. And then start to lift the spine up off the floor, press through the feet nice and firm. So as you press the feet down, you can stay here and feel the activation for your hamstrings and glutes. If you want a little more, you can rise up onto your tippy toes and then walk the feet in a little bit closer, lifting yourself up a little bit higher. Hold here for 3, 2, and 1. Gently release. Take the feet as wide as your mat again. This time we'll knock the knees from left to right. Excellent. Swing the legs overhead. You've got an option here to take a few rock and rolls with the feet landing behind and then out in front, up onto sit bones. 2 more. Good. Extend the legs out nice and straight. And we'll take a forward fold. So a fairly relaxed forward fold. I still want you to keep your feet flexing towards your face to maximize the stretch at the back of your legs, but keep the knees soft, so don't lock the knees out. And then you're welcome to roll forward, rounding your shoulders. Depending on your flexibility, you might stay fairly upright. You can even wrap your arms underneath your knees and maybe sink a little bit lower down towards your thighs. And some of you may be able to reach forward for your feet and fold even deeper into your legs. Wherever you are, you can tuck the chin towards your chest. And if it feels okay, looking from left to right. Dandasana, lift your torso back up, hands down by your side. Majority of the hands resting on the floor. You may be able to touch your palms down, maybe not. Wherever you are, can you feel the sit bones, the bony point of your bum on the floor, and then press it down to lift up through the crown of your head. Okay, so before we start to move a little bit more dynamically, remember we are looking to stretch the muscles, open up the joints, but not force the body to do anything that it's not ready to do. So we'll have an opportunity to come through the sequence that we set up more than one time. So remember, there is always another try to sink a little deeper into any of the shapes that you come through today. All right, cross at the ankles, roll over onto the knees, tabletop position. Cat-cow, inhale, look up, lift the gaze. Exhale, round and dome. Do this for a few more breaths, let's say 3 more breaths, stopping at any points that feel like they need a little extra attention. Okay, tuck the toes under, shift the weight back into the feet to stretch open the little knuckles in your toes and the sole of the feet. Excellent. And then a little work for the wrist. So untuck your toes, and then we'll place the front of the right hand down onto the floor, the top of the right hand, I should say. This can feel quite intense for the wrist, so just take it easy. Untuck the right hand, and we'll do the left hand. Both hands down. Turn the fingers out to the sides of the mat, and this time we'll just kind of circle around using the hip joints as well here, the knees. And then we'll come back to a neutral position, turn the hands in towards each other, and we'll circle the other way a couple of times. All right, sink down into a child's pose, hands turned straight out in front of you, sink low through the hips. So bring your attention to your tailbone, and I want you to draw the tailbone down into the floor. It may be touching your heels, your bottom may be touching your heels, maybe not, but just have the intention to draw the tailbone down. Keep drawing the tailbone down and extend your arms as long as you can onto the mat, forehead resting down. And we'll try on our first flow here. So as your hands creep as far forward as they can, rise up into tabletop position. Feel the shoulders land just over the wrists, and then slowly lower yourself down to the floor. You want to lower your pelvis and shoulders at the same time. So the elbows hug in towards the rib cage as you lower forward and down, everything landing hopefully at the same time. Top of the feet pressed down. Inhale, lift the chest to baby cobra. And then exhale, lower down. Do that 2 more times, baby cobra. Notice how I keep looking down so the back of my neck stays nice and long. 1 more. Feel the whole back of your body activate. Feet press, shoulders draw down. Tuck the toes and find your first downward facing dog. All right, so some slow flow salutations here, a little bit different to standard. If you would like to do your standard sun sal, you're absolutely welcome, but come with me for the first round. Plant the left foot down nice and firm, reach the right leg high. And then we're going to step the right foot forward in the middle of the mat and then reach the left leg up nice and high. So slowly walking to feel a really beautiful stretch for the back of the right leg. And then go ahead and place the left foot down, hopefully at the top of the mat or somewhere near. Reach the right leg up nice and high. And then place the right foot down. You're all the way at the top. Forward fold. Take a halfway lift. Fingertips can be on the floor, or maybe you'll be pressing your hands into your shin bones. Keep a slight bend in the knee, nice and long through the spine. Fold forward on your breath out. With breath 2 times, halfway lift. Fold forward. And again, halfway. Fold down. Rise all the way to stand. Reach nice and tall at the top. Hands come to prayer. And then draw your hands in towards your heart. Hands by your side. Inhale, reach up. Find a prayer. And fold forward, nice and slow. Fingertips on the front of the shins or floor. Halfway lift, nice and flat in your back. Slow flow variation of a flow here. Hands pressed down, step back to downward facing dog. Wave forward through to high plank. Drop the knees, untuck your toes and come into a child's pose. Let's see what's happened to my microphone. So from your child's pose, the hands creep forward as far as you can, rise up tabletop position. Shift the weight forward and down, brush the elbows to the side of the waist for one round of your baby cobra or cobra pose if you'd like to straighten your arms. To downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and stay for the breath out. So slowly walking now, plant the right foot down as you lift the left leg up. Rise up right tippy toes, place the left foot down halfway and reach your right leg high. Step the right foot forward towards the top of the mat, reach your left leg high. Plant the left foot down, forward fold at the top of the mat. I'm going to have to take my top off for 1 sec. A halfway lift on a breath in. Exhale as you fold forward. Press through the feet and rise all the way up to stand, reach tall. And then shift the hips back to fold down. Halfway lift. Step back, downward facing dog. And take your flow, high plank. Child's pose. Tabletop position. Lower down through chaturanga. Baby cobra or cobra pose, squeeze the legs. Downward facing dog. All right. Rise up through tippy toes, bend the knees, step or jump forward, forward fold. Take a halfway lift. Keep the fingertips on the floor, pull up your right leg. And we're going to step it back behind for a low lunge, drop the knee down. So hands reaching up nice and high here, check the knees stacking on top of the ankle. And we're looking for a nice stretch for the front of the right hip here. So welcome to find any movement that helps you to feel into the front of the right hip. As you breathe in, reach the hands up nice and high. And as you exhale, we're going to open up, cactus the arms and press the heart forward. Inhale, reach up, neutral spine. Exhale, cactus the arms and press the heart up. And again, lift. Open. From here, place the hands down underneath the shoulders and straighten your left leg. So hands land under the shoulders. All I have to do is straighten the left leg. My pelvis is the left hip, I should say, is going to come to the right in alignment and then pull up the left toe. So you shouldn't need to move your left foot. Notice how my hips are still quite high here. I'm stretching the left leg by folding forward rather than sinking back. So bring your attention now to the left hip. I'm going to turn around so you can see my left hip. So attention to the left hip. Try to keep the hip exactly where it is. So there's almost this sensation of pulling it kind of down towards the floor. Right hand is underneath the right shoulder, and then we're going to twist with the left hand up. So reach the left hand back behind you and then lift it all the way up to stack on top of the right. Your gaze can be in the direction of your heart, or maybe you'll be looking up towards your fingers. Just check that your left hip hasn't started to flare out. You're still tucking it in nice and steady. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Let's land in lizard lunge. So heel and toe your left foot out to the side, and then land your hands on the inside of the foot. Extend the right leg out nice and long. So we want to get the hips low. And you might roll onto the outer blade of that left foot so that your knee can kind of fall out to the side. So you'll feel this most likely in the inner seam of your legs, but also maybe the right hip as well. We will have another option to come into lizard. If you feel like you're fairly open, you want to come down onto forearms, you're welcome, but we will have another try to do that during the second round. All right, so back onto hands if you came down to forearms. Tuck the back toes, drop the knee a little further forward. Keep the right hand down, and we're going to take a supported bow pose. So, right toes go off the side of the mat. Left hand grabs the inside of the left foot. Press the right hand down firm, and then we're going to swing the left leg back behind us to get a really nice stretch for the front quad. So press the foot into the hand back into the foot, feel that activation. And then from here, we're landing into a pigeon pose. So left hand comes down, send the left knee forward, landing behind the wrist, and then extend the right leg out nice and long. So again, we've got another option to come into pigeon pose. You can stay upright. You may be ready to come down to fold forward. We're not going to hold this one for too long. We'll walk the hands back in. Tuck the right toes. Drop the knee a little further forward towards the heel, the left heel. And then we'll come into a downward facing dog. So option here is to take a flow, if you'd like, coming forward through high plank. Otherwise, stay in your downward facing dog, or you can stay in your child's pose if you really want something nice and restorative. From child's pose, either stay or come forward, tabletop, lower down, baby cobra or cobra, downward facing dog. All right, turn back to this side. Rise up high, tippy toes, bend the knees, step or jump forward, forward fold. Halfway lift with the fingertips on the floor. Pick up your left leg this time, place it long behind you for your low lunge. Spend a bit of time here feeling into the left hip. So it's fairly easy, I think, to sink into the muscles and the ligaments and to kind of force your way into opening up the joints. But can you do it in a really controlled and conscious way, whereby you actually use the muscles, slight activation of the muscles to support you into coming into the stretch, in a supportive way, so that you don't overdo it, overstretch, and potentially cause an issue with all sorts of things. All right, so from here, lifting up and out, and then exhale, cactus the arms, press the heart forward. We'll do that 2 more times. Lift up and cactus the arms. And again, cactus, pull the shoulders together as you press forward. And then place the hands underneath the shoulders. Pull up your right foot and fold over the leg. All right, so half monkey pose is where we are. Again, attention to the right hip. Keep drawing it down towards the floor. Be sure that it doesn't move as you keep the left fingertips down, and then reach the right hand up, stacking on top of the left. Again, gaze in the direction of your heart or up towards the sky, wherever is comfortable for your neck. Suck the belly in, lift a little taller. And then we'll head into a lizard lunge. So creeping the right foot out to the side, roll onto the outer blade, and then sink the right knee out and the hips down. If you came onto your forearms last time, you can take that now. Notice how your body might feel different on this side compared to the other side. Completely normal. So come back up on hands if you're on your forearms. Pick up the back knee, drop it a little further forward. Supported bow pose. Take the left toes off the side of the mat. Keep the hand down. Grab a hold of the inside of the right foot, and then we're going to pull the foot back behind us, lifting into your supported bow pose. Press the foot into the hand, hand into the foot. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Pigeon pose. Right hand down, right knee forward, extend the left leg back. So this is where you can feel a really obvious difference in the right and left side of your body. So take your time. You might have been able to fold forward last time, but you could feel a little more sticky on this side. So just be mindful of what your body is asking of you. And then we'll come into tabletop position. And welcome to take a flow, or again, rest down in your child's pose. Meet in downward facing dog. So just kind of feel your downward dog at this point in your practice. We've spent time really looking to open up all of the different muscle groups, especially in your legs, which is extremely helpful for feeling a fairly nurturing downward facing dog. So you might start to feel the heels are sinking further down towards the floor or feeling more steady on the floor. If your heels naturally come down quite easily, you can even kind of lift the toes up and feel the backs of the legs open as you do that even more. Careful not to extend your knees straight. Keep a little bend. We're going to move through that sequence, one breath per movement. So, inhaling to lift the heels, bend the knees, step or float forward and fold. Halfway lift. Fold down. This time we will rise up to stand just to flush it out nicely. Hands come through center and fold back down. Take a halfway lift. Keep the fingers on the floor, pull up the right leg, drop it behind you for a low lunge, lift the hands. 3 times, cactus the elbows, pull the heart forward, inhale, reach up. Exhale. 2 more just like that. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Hands underneath shoulders, half monkey pose, pull up the left toes. Right hand stays down, left hip down as you pull the left hand up. Left hand land inside the left foot, walk yourself out to a low lizard lunge, I should say. So you may sink down a little further here. We'll hold this shape for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands back underneath the shoulders. Walk the knee a little further forward. Take the right toes off the side of the mat. Grab a hold of inside of left foot, supported bow pose. Press the foot into the hand, hand into the foot. Inhale, big breath. Exhale, pigeon pose, and we'll stay there for a little moment as well. Maybe feeling yourself come even further into the shape. Last breath in. Stay for the breath out. Walk the hands back into the body. And come back to downward facing dog. Lift the heels, bend the knees, step or float forward and fold. Halfway lift. Fold down, press to rise up, stand. Hands draw through center, hips shift back, fold. Lift halfway, pick up the left leg, place it back behind you, low lunge. Cactus the arms out, in. Lift up, out. 2 more. Hands float underneath shoulders, pull the right toes back. Left hand down, right hand high, we twist. Lizard lunge, right hand on the inside. Sink low. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Hands under shoulders, supported bow pose, left toes off the side, right foot kick back. And pigeon pose, we land, right knee, right wrist. Last breath here. Good. So from here, press down through forearms, tuck the back toes, and you're going to glide your right leg back to meet the left and land in your crocodile pose. So hands stacking with the elbows out, and lay your forehead rest down on top. So this is a really nice restorative pose. You're welcome to wriggle your hips from side to side as you lay here. And then we're going to take bird with a broken wing. So really nice stretch for the front of the shoulders and the chest. All right, so hopefully my microphone doesn't get too much interference as I'm lying down. Right arm comes out, elbow at the height of my shoulder, and then I bend 90 degrees so my fingers are facing forward. Left fingertips underneath the left shoulder, and then I'm going to use the fingertips to roll over onto the right side of my body to feel that stretch for the right shoulder at the front and the pec. So let your head rest down on the right side. And just check that you are lying on the right side of your body. So sometimes we can be sagging forward or back. If you can't feel the stretch in your shoulder, you may want to walk the elbow a little further up towards the front of your mat. So it's like I come to pull your fingers forward. This may feel more than enough. Anyone who wants to bend the left knee and take the toes beside you, you're welcome. But just know if you've come too far and relax the leg back down if you need. We're going to stay here for just a little moment more. And then rolling over back to crocodile pose. And preparing for the other side. So, left arm, shoulder height, 90-degree angle with the fingers reaching forward. Use the right fingertips to roll over onto the left side of your body. And again, just look for those little adjustments. So you want to make sure you're lying on the left side, the left hip. If you can't feel a stretch, you might want to lift the shoulder, elbow up from the shoulder just a little bit. And if you like, lifting up the right leg, bending the knee and placing the toes onto the floor with the knee facing up. So a few different things to consider. Take 3 more nice breaths in and out of your nose. From crocodile pose, tabletop position. Sink the hips down into a Japanese seat at the back of your mat. So the toes are untucked. Rest your hands down onto your thighs. So the legs have had a lot of attention. We've stretched the shoulders. We've done some mobility work in working the joints of the shoulders as well. The last thing we're going to do before we come to lie down is just a little bit more work for the spine to flex it into a back bend. So, slow flow, so we're not going to push this back bend too far. Variation of camel pose. If you're familiar with camel, you want a little bit more, you can take a full camel with the toes untucked. Otherwise, please tuck your toes and bring your hands to your low back with the fingers facing down. So the fingers are resting just at the very bottom of my back. So knees pressed down, make sure they're hip width apart. And we're going to use the hands to push the pelvis forward and start to roll the upper part of the spine over the hands, looking up towards the ceiling. I'm not going to bend too much just because I am pregnant. No need to look all the way back. You can keep just looking up towards the ceiling, whatever's comfortable for your neck. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Lift up, crown above the pelvis, and then release your hands down and take a child's pose. Hands out in front, or you can even wrap them around to your heels if that feels really nice. All right, walk the hands in towards the knees, sit over onto one of your hips and bring the legs out nice and long onto the floor, laying all the way down. Just like we started, you can take the soles of your feet together and let your knees go out nice and wide. I think at this point of the class, in a slow flow class, I tend to want to feel contained. So I've got my hands resting on my belly. You can take your arms out long if you like. And have a think about how you'd like to end the class, whether or not you want to take Shavasana with the legs out nice and long. You can also walk yourself over to the wall in your room and let your legs lay up the wall, which is a really nice restorative inversion to take. Lots of options. Make sure you feel nice and cozy and comfortable, and we'll just spend a little moment more here in meditation. So eyes closing comfortably. Release all of the effort in your body, even in your breath, so you're not constricting or controlling the rate of your breath. Bring the attention to the very tip of your nose, and I want you to focus on the air as it moves in and out of your nose. It's quite subtle to feel the air coming in as you breathe in, but even more delicate as you breathe out. So just focus your attention there on trying to feel and observe how the air flows in and out. And if you notice your attention wanders off into thinking, just bring it back, keep bringing it back. Keep your attention there. Take a deep breath in. And a nice long breath out. Invite some movement back into your body, wriggling the hands and the feet. You can look from side to side. And then you might like to roll over onto your side, staying there for a few moments before coming up into a seat with the hands at your heart. It was a pleasure as always to practice with you today. I hope that you are feeling more balanced and centered, open. See you in here again soon. Namaste.